8:02 right now on the People Station V103, the ATL's #1 for hip-hop and R&B, the Ryan Cameron Morning Show with Wanda Smith and myself, Gerard J. Ryan Cameron celebrating his birthday. Wanda's here. Rashad Ritchie from our sister station News and Talk 13.
Good morning.
Is here. Also, mayoral candidate Mary Norwood is here. Good morning.
Absolutely.
Good morning. Delighted to be here.
Nice. And our very own Maria Boynton will be sitting with us this morning as well.
Hi, Maria.
Hi.
How are you?
Good morning.
So we have a runoff happening, of course, December the 5th. And, you know, we want to have the opportunity to address some more things and have Ms. Norwood come in and talk to us. And so it's good that we brought our political advisors in with us, our newest correspondent, Maria Boynton, and, of course, Rashad Ritchie. Rashad, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, so let me just begin with what's happening right now.
Okay.
There's a lot of promotion, propaganda, rhetoric, whatever you want to call it, about you being a Republican.
Yes.
So I decided to look this up myself. So I looked up your voting record. It's a program called Vote Builder. It's not hard to find, not hard to get access to. You're not listed as a Republican. In addition to that, I saw that you voted for Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, but then there's a recording that's embedded in a meme of you talking to the Republican Party. Now, you were post 2 at large for the whole city, so you had to work with everybody. What do you say to people who will use your affiliation or support from Republicans to create this blanket statement that you yourself are a Republican? What's your answer to that?
Well, Rashad, thank you so much for checking Vote Builder. As you know, that Vote Builder was produced by the Georgia Democratic Party. So it was a Vote Builder analysis by the Democratic Party, which said that my voting record leaned Democratic. So thank you so much for doing that, because it really is important. The spliced and diced recording was one of many, many times that I have talked about the election in 2009 in direct response to a question, which was, do you think that the voting will be accurate and legal and fair in 2017? So what has happened is, yet again, an audio file has been altered. And all of us who have been in radio know how easy that is to do. You have a Vox file, VOX file, and you can slice and dice it and move things around any way you want to. And that is what happened. And I am saddened that mischaracterizations continue. But thank you for clarifying that truly I am an independent, have always been an independent, and will always be an independent, and will serve all of Atlanta as our next mayor.
8:05 right now. Please go to watchv103.com and you can see what's going on live in the studio with us and Mary Norwood.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us this morning. I am a huge fan of going around feeding the homeless people. My heart goes out to them. And of course, there are a lot of organizations and people in Atlanta that will honestly just stop by and feed them if they wanted to. Well, now there's something going on in our city where, you know, people are having concerns saying that I'll go to jail. I don't care what happens. I'm upset about this. What are your thoughts on taking care of the homeless people in the city of Atlanta?
Well, what we know is that I have contributed, I have raised money to help the homeless over the years. I have raised over $500,000 in public and private funds, both from the State Department of Transportation, from foundations, from CDBG grants. So I have a long history of helping the homeless. I know that with the feeding, the issue is not that you're feeding, the issue is who's cleaning up. Now, that's the issue. And so the issue was to have permits so that there would be some responsibility. And, you know, I started out my career being Norwood for neighborhoods, both working for neighborhoods in the 1990s and then being a citywide council member since 2002. So downtown is actually a neighborhood, and there are people that have to walk across the trash that some well-meaning and very, very thoughtful, well-meaning group from somewhere else came and did not think about what Sunday afternoon and Monday morning looked like with litter strewn. I served as the chair of the Clean City Commission in the mid-1990s, and I have a passion that no child should walk through filth to go to school. No child should walk through filth to get to the store with their mom. So I want to make sure that as I clean this city up fiscally, I'm going to and financially, I'm going to clean it up physically. I think it's so important that every neighborhood reflect the lovely people that live in it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Norwood, hello. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. Of course, we had a long-fought race for mayor of Atlanta. You had several African-American candidates in that race. You had several white candidates in that race. And here's my question. Some say that the race for mayor has divided the city of Atlanta and divided it along racial lines. How do you plan to heal that rift?
Well, I would say that my candidacy has been the candidacy of unity. When you look at the endorsements in the past 2 days, not only Shirley Franklin and Caesar Mitchell, of course, also John Eves, also Reverend Timothy Fleming, also Reverend Jasper Williams, Hattie Dorsey, George Dorsey, Larry Dobbs, Lonnie Johnson, Carol Ann Dove, Maceo Williams, James Welcome, Maynard Eaton. The list goes on and on. These are community leaders, elected representatives who are supporting the Mary Norwood campaign, and there are more to come. So I would say that I am the candidate who has had support for years across our entire city. When you look at my background in the 1990s, when I decided the city had been unfair to me, I got involved across the entire city. One of the groups I joined was the Election Coalition of Atlanta Neighborhoods. It was the first biracial, black and white, group in the city. We had one representative from each council district. The 4 co-chairs were Ruth Reed, Emmett Johnson, Gloria Borders, and Ruth Reed, Emmett Johnson, Gloria Borders, and Jane Harmon. All 4 of them are supporting my campaign. We got together once a month. We monitored City Hall. We issued report cards on how the city was doing, responding to neighborhoods. We saved so many neighborhoods because we were united and the council knew we were paying attention. That group was in existence for several years, and I was the District 8 representative.
Okay. 8:10 right now. We are going to come back with more with Mary Norwood. Also opening the text line up at 404-741-9833. We'll try to get to some of your text questions coming up next on V103. Now here's the deal. The runoff is happening December the 5th. And we're having a very good conversation with Ms. Norwood right now. We're getting a lot of questions that come in from the text line at 404-741-9833. So I'm going to start with one. Ms. Norwood, this one says, why should African Americans in ATL trust that you will promote our prosperity?
Because I have for years, and the neighborhoods all across the city know that. What is really important for us in the city right now is to make sure that we rewrite the zoning code, that we redevelop the city with protecting neighborhoods. There is a plan on the internet that the Commissioner of Planning put together with Ryan Gravel, which is called atlcitydesign.com. It talks about preserving our communities. That's the way we don't have displacement. You have displacement when somebody comes in, buys out a whole neighborhood, and then builds whatever they want to build. This talks about and espouses the view that we build along our commercial corridors with connectivity and mobility so that people can get to the goods and services. We need to have neighborhood circulators in our neighborhoods. We have many neighborhoods with aging residents, with seniors who either don't have transportation or no longer wish to drive in our crazy traffic. And so we need to be able to get them to the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station or the West End MARTA station so they can get to the grid and get where they would like to go. Uber is great. We need to make sure that we have a fare that is like a MARTA fare, so it's affordable, and work out a deal with MARTA so that our seniors and others on limited income can get around. And so that's a key component to having people stay in place and to have the prosperity come everywhere. We know that part of the city has not seen that prosperity, and I am committed to it. That's why there is so much support across the entire city for this campaign.
Mary Norwood right here. Please go to watchb103.com if you want to see what's happening in studio.
Of course, Ms. Norwood, the residents of Atlanta are so very passionate about who they desire to be their next leader. You know that. And we want to talk to you about criminal justice reform. When it comes to bridging the divide between the police and the community, how do you plan? What is your plan for criminal justice reform?
Well, I am delighted to have had the endorsement of John Eves yesterday, along with so many other community leaders. And John and I have talked about his views in combining Fulton County and the City of Atlanta's criminal justice system to make sure that we don't have duplication, to make sure that and to save money. And if we save money, which is not the main purpose, but if we do, I wanted to put it back into our young people. I am pleased that our new police chief said, we're not writing tickets and trying to trap people in the system. We are going after violent crime in our town. And so she's done a complete shift, and I am glad to see that. True community policing is officers in every community where they're living there, and I am promoting a program that has been started by the Police Foundation, but to take it citywide, where every neighborhood has a police officer, and they will get the increase in that home value if they are in that community and they're working for the police department. That way they will know who our community is. They know the children, the grandchildren, they know the friends. It's so important when we're short-staffed and they are overbooked, and it's a recipe for not good things happening. And I am all about making sure that we have the best trained anti-bias training of any department in the nation. And so I will work to protect our communities.
During campaigns, Mary, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of rough and tumble. What makes you different? What distinguishes you from your opponent?
I like that question.
Good question.
Yes.
Because you can see my track record for 25 years. I am a lady of my word. I am a lady of honesty. When you look at why Mayor Franklin endorsed me, she said 3 things: character, integrity, transparency. It's really important that the next leader of this city lead with independence, with accountability, with fair play, with inclusion, with everybody enjoying the best of Atlanta. And that's what I'm committed to, and my track record speaks to that. For years and years, if you look at, yesterday I was endorsed by Joyce Dorsey. Joyce Dorsey and I worked with female offenders coming out of prison at a halfway house over on Ponce de Leon near Krispy Kreme in 1977. She was the executive director and I was the volunteer coordinator. And we helped women put their lives back together. That was 40 years ago. So when Joyce endorsed me yesterday, it wasn't a campaign endorsement. It was, this is my friend. This is the woman I've worked with. This is the woman I've known for 40 years. And Joyce Dorsey, for those in the audience who don't know, is head of FACA, the Fulton Atlanta Community Action Authority.
Great organization.
Helping the least of these. And so Joyce's endorsement is so important. Every union has endorsed me. Yesterday, I got an endorsement from ASME and from PACE. I already had endorsements from fire, from police. The employees across the city and across every department know that I'm going to work to have them be able to do their jobs. When we've got this income inequality in the city has to lead the way. I supported $15 an hour. I'm going to lobby for good child care for all of our moms who are out there working hard every day. I am going to lobby for making sure that we get more resources to overcome this great inequity divide that we've got. There are a dozen things that we don't have time to discuss today, but are already on my radar screen that I know we can do to have our city lift everyone up. This is Atlanta, the city we aspire to. The image of our city is one of inclusion, of embracing diversity. It's what I've done my entire life.
One of the things that I think concern a lot of our people here in Atlanta is we've been having a lot of crime with our youth people, just having a lot of crime with our younger generation. What will be put in place for our parents once they are incarcerated or once they get out? What will happen?
Well, number one, with our youth, we need to intervene quickly. And Rashad and I have talked about this. We need to make sure that there are alternatives. Lonnie Johnson yesterday endorsed me. He's a super soaker water gun. He's fabulous. Lonnie is all about the robotics program, which little kids do Legos, and then you work up to real robots. We want to take that citywide. Let's have our city be involved in things that our young people actually want to do. It doesn't do you any good to have programming if they aren't interested. So we want to get the best of the best and make sure our young people are engaged in things that they think are fun. I'm married to a pediatrician. My stepdaughter's a pediatrician. You've got to engage kids that they want to play, and at the same time, they are learning such great skills. We need jobs. I want a Maynard Jackson's Focus on Jobs program. These young people don't have access to ways to make money. They need it. I will make sure that we do that.
So programs will be put in place.
Absolutely.
Mary Norwood, thank you very much for coming in. 8:32 right now. Again, the runoff is December the 5th. Early voting is going on right now. So
right, absolutely.
Thank you for taking the time to come in.
Thank you very
much.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck.
The election is Tuesday.
There it is. Ryan Cameron Morning Show with Wanda Smith and myself, Gerard J. on V103.